Tommy Fury just became the first one to find the solution to the problem child, beating him via split decision in a fight riddled with controversy.
Tommy TNT.
From leaked scripts debunked hours before the fight, to Jake Paul calling for an immediate rematch, let's look at this turning point in the YouTube boxer's career.
It happens. Guess what, Tommy Fury? Fight through it. This one you get the
Tommy may have won the fight, but Tyson still lost 100,000 pounds. I'm not too worried about the heavyweight champ's wallet. I'm sure he's got a few million lying around to bet on his younger brother. Fury did go into the fight as the favorite, but there was anxiety around the matchup for Fury fans. They were worried about the implications of Tommy losing.
because Tommy has his hands down. What I really want to see, I don't know if they'll give it to us, is where the point was deducted. I just want to say.
But Tyson was confident after seeing pre-fight sparring sessions that his younger brother could put the younger Paul brother to sleep. Gotta admit though, Jake may have lost the war, but he won the battle by not getting knocked out by the professional boxer. And you could see the relief in the Brit's eyes in the post-fight interviews as he finally passed the test the boxing world had set for him.
I've already won in life, man. I've already won. I've won in every single way. I have an amazing family, amazing friends.
Two of the judges gave the fight to Fury, 76-63, who many thought won at least 6 of the 8 rounds, while a single judge nodded towards Jake by a close 75-76. However, there's more to this victory than meets the eye in terms of how close the fight actually was, whether or not a rematch is going to take place, and the most important question of all is whether any of this is actually even real. A script for the fight was leaked hours before the fight began. Major controversy broke out on the internet as several social media platforms had a leaked script begin making the rounds. The picture was a round-by-round description of how the fight was meant to go, with highlight sections making it look like someone was using it. It detailed the intro music for both fighters, the costumes they would wear, and even suggestions for post-fight callouts. However, there was something off about the way the fight was described, with phrases like general back and forth for some rounds, and others with no clear victor at all. The fight was going to be competitive until Jake would overwhelm Fury with a vicious combination, knocking him out. Once the fight began, it was clear the whole thing was a scam, right down to the entrance music it highlighted and the way the fight would go. But it was a marketing nightmare for the PR teams, who reached out to Sportsmail and debunked the entire thing with some obvious points.
Strong continues to pursue Tommy Fury. But back comes Fury, right hand to the body, back comes
The watermark on the script belonged to a company that doesn't even exist, and the company logo was also completely made up. And if the numbers for viewership are anything to go off of, the scandal didn't affect the viewership one bit. Paul v. Fury generated more than $300 million.
And no one believed me. Now I can stand up and everybody can take note. It's my first main event, 23 years old. I had the world on me. I had pressure on my shoulders, and I came through.
There was speculation over how well this event would do after some of the previous Jake fights flopped on the pay-per-view numbers. But those fights were against retired, old, or amateur boxers that no real boxing fan was interested in spending money on. That changes when the name Fury gets in the ring.
great right hand, as I remember. There it is.
Yeah, right through that little...
He's the first pro boxer the former Disney star fought, resulting in 4.5 million people watching the fight in the US alone.
In the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
We had some really good rounds.
Those are some serious numbers, and if they're accurate, it means Paul has successfully outperformed Dana White in the numbers game. This is proof of the concept that YouTube stars can actually break into professional boxing, even if Jake lost the fight because he came close, and that's enough to generate interest in a rematch or inspire Paul to push himself further for the next fight. Everybody loves a fighter who can overcome a loss, right? The sport of exhibition fighting could expand in scope. Retired fighters have been joining for a while, and UFC champion Francis Ngannou just made the split from MMA.
Try to get a matchup with Ngannou. Goes the win. Francis Ngannou.
And let me tell you, the money both fighters made on the fight makes any future boxing career possible for Jake Paul. The problem child netted close to $200 million over the weekend. Jake was the favorite for the fight despite being the amateur, at -155 betting odds to win on DraftKings, and Fury was the equal 125 underdog. Before I break down how much money each fighter took home, we have to consider the wager made by both fighters. Paul was so sure he would win the fight, he promised to double Fury's pay if he managed to win. If he lost though, Jake would take every last penny he was set to earn.
If you win, I'll pay you double what I'm paying you already. But if I win, I take everything that I'm paying you.
Their contract stipulated that Jake was due $3.2 million, along with 65% of the pay-per-view shares, while Fury got the smaller payout of 35% of viewership sales and $2.5 million. Calculate 4.4 million viewers at $50 per ticket, and you get around $333 million, of which Jake received the lion's share despite losing. For Tommy, it was his most viewed fight to date. He proved everybody wrong and made over $100 million while he was at it.
For the past 2.5 years, this has always consumed my life. Broke rib, denied access, and everybody thought I was running scared.
The very existence of such numbers points towards a new era in prize fighting, with social media stars drawing record numbers. So Jake Paul, the professional boxer, isn't going anywhere. And why would he? There was no shame in losing to Fury in the first place, and losing that undefeated record adds a bit of legitimacy to his career. It's like a battle scar, reminding the fans that Paul is willing to take on actual fighters, even if it means losing, because that's how a prize fighter approaches the game. Had Jake won this fight and gone on to fight KSI like he said multiple times in the press, it was set to be one of the most viewed fighting events in history. Personally, I don't see why Jake still can't do that. That fight is ready-made and self-promoted, and the fans want to see it. KSI has a solid record, and there's an established storyline with his brother losing to the Brit in the past. It's gonna make them a ton of money, so why waste the opportunity to hold an event in London? However, Jake may have other things in mind before he turns his attention to KSI, specifically a clause in Fury's contract that many people overlooked. The contract forces a rematch if Jake lost. That is a neat way to make sure you get a chance to redeem yourself. In interviews after the fight, Paul said he felt sick to his stomach at the decision and thought he had done more than enough to win the fight. The problem child had dropped Fury in the 8th and final round.
The ring, and they both did what they had to do to win this fight.
So we're looking at the knockdown.
The foot comes from underneath him, right there. We do see the foot slip, nonetheless.
And one can make the case that the fight was beginning to swing in his direction as it ended. Whichever way you lean though, Fury is forced to fight Jake a second time. Not that I think he's going to complain. After the payout from the first fight, the rematch is bound to do higher numbers than the first fight anyway, because of the controversy with the script and the big moment in the final round.
So this is definitely a humbling experience. I'll take it on the chin, get back in the gym, and we can run it back.
Not to mention the celebrity attention the fight received. YouTube-turned-boxer KSI commented that he would destroy them both after the fight. While Liam Smith was unimpressed, he simply thanked God that the boxer won for the sake of the sport's sanctity. Teddy Atlas liked it though. He reminded the fans to check their expectations a bit. Both of them did well, considering the level they're on, and a rematch would go a long way. And that's all the news from Fury vs. Paul 1. And we can only wait to see what the future holds.